Hey, what's going on, Pats Nation? Welcome to another edition of the Ken's Pats Talk Patriots podcast. We're here today. It is a Wednesday, fresh off the breaking news yesterday from the Stephon Diggs. We got a lot of news to talk about tonight. I do have a special guest joining me tonight. I have ZB from an editor from let me see, from Cut Call. He's from the Cut Call network or whatnot. So he does content on the pages from Cut Call, breaking down plays and all that good stuff. So I want to refer y'all to his page because he does this some tremendous work. So make sure you go check him out. Let me go ahead and let him in here for a few. What's going on with you, Z?
Hi.
How you doing, bro?
I'm doing all right, man. How you doing?
Pretty good, pretty good. First, I appreciate you for taking time out. I know you're busy with all the stuff you do for the patient and whatnot. I appreciate you taking time out your busy day to join me, of all people, to talk about some Patriots, talk about some draft. We got the Stephon Diggs news that broke last night and whatnot. So we got a lot to talk about, man. So everything going all right with you?
It was fantastic. It's a great time of the year for football. Great time of the year for me. I know it's off season, but I'm a draft guy, so I'm enjoying it. And anytime you get the fourth pick, I mean, you don't like how you got it, but you like having it.
Yes, sir. Just tell everybody about where you're from and what you do too with the cut up with the cut call, what you doing over there and whatnot.
Oh yeah, my followers are sort of familiar with my work. I during the season, I mostly break down Patriots highlights. I'll take a play apart, show people why it worked, show people what was good about it. And in the off season, I'm heavy into draft work, and that's even during the football season. I'm usually like working on building towards the next year's class and researching it. So I take a lot of time and effort putting together videos on various prospects, mostly wide receivers these days.
Yes.
I've kind of become a wide receiver guy.
Same here, man. And let's go ahead and start right there, man. And let's go ahead and get to your So you got your mock draft and all that here. Give me 1 second. Hey, while y'all sitting there waiting, it's a bunch of y'all in here. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube over at Ken's Pats Talk, link right there in the bio. My tags are down at the bottom, so make sure y'all subscribe, man. I really, really appreciate it, man. We about to get into a lot here tonight. Okay, starting out right here. Let me get it so everybody can see pretty good. So you got some of your this is your tight ends right here, correct? I
My tight
really
ends. Oh no, that's my mock
no.
draft.
Yeah, no, okay, yeah, that's right. This is your mock draft. I know you got Ted. Hold on, I'm gonna try to let me we're gonna start with the tight end. I know you did send me that as well.
Yeah, it's a great, fantastic class.
Yes, it is a great one. I don't know if it could be, but no, that's the wide receiver. We can start with the wide receivers. We're gonna start the wide receivers.
Sure.
I see you got Tate McMillan. I guess is that's your first ranked wide receiver so far? Let
Um,
me get this
I
thing.
have Tet. I have Tet and Travis. I have Tet and
Okay,
Travis.
yeah. Travis Hunter's up top. Tate
But
McMillan.
yeah, I got a
Then
blue
you
chip
got
on
Luther
both of them.
Bird. Yeah, Burden from Missouri. Abuka. Golden. Let me see. Yeah, you got Golden. You got Trey Harris. I like Ilika Lemonor from Stanford, I believe.
I love him. I
Yeah.
love him.
You
Yeah.
got Jake Bedge, Higgins, and Jalen Roy's a sleeper. Nobody's talking about him. Nobody's talking about him. And what really stands out from you from that list right there?
Which guy you want me to talk? Which guy do I want to talk about first?
Whoever we're gonna take, whoever.
I mean, we can start at the top, start at the bottom. I'll say this: I get Travis Hunter and Tet McMillan. If you're at 4 for the Patriots, like for me, and they're looking for a wide receiver, I think they still might be. It's a premium position, and that's where they're going to be. Um, I look at both of these guys as top 10 guys at wide receiver isolated. Travis Hunter as a prospect because of his cornerback background. That's a whole separate conversation, and it puts him probably above Tet. Because he's a versatile player.
Yeah.
But as pure wide receivers, I'd put them together as both as blue chip prospects.
Now I think
Um,
with go ahead.
oh no, you can go.
No, I was about to say my Luther Bird. I was thinking about him. A lot of the steam, like coming into the process, a lot of people were high, but it seemed like he's going down. I've heard people say he might be a second rounder now.
He could be, yeah, he could be. And it's been, that's been sort of picking up, and even after the combine when he came out and he ran a really good time. I think it was 4.41. He didn't get on the in the 40. He didn't get the best start So, I record the 40s and go back and watch to see who got a good start, who didn't get a good start, because it's really critical for the time. And more importantly for me, he weighed in right. He measured his height right. Because if you watch a lot of Luther Burden, um, he's really quick, makes a lot of people miss, led the whole class in missed tackles forced. But one of the things when he's on the football field is he's one of those players where he's very compact, and you're kind of looking at him like, is this a 5'11" guy? You know what I mean? Is this a 5'10" guy? And he came in at 6 feet. He came in at 206. And I thought for him that would be, deal's done. He's locked in the first, but there's some action. People saying that he might be in the
Some
second.
off the field stuff, some sideline antics.
Yeah. For him, I'm not entirely. I don't. I try not to get into rumors about players, because a lot of people will fill things in subjectively, and these young men that they're talking about, they don't really know what's going on. With him, I don't know if it's a whiteboard thing, or he might have just been unhappy with his diminished role in the offense last year.
And then I think Abuka from Ohio State, he ran his 40 today. He looked pretty good today. He's starting to go up a little bit. His quarterback got real high. Yeah,
he should never have gone down.
Right.
Never have gone down. I think one of
out of this whole class right here, who's really like your sleeper? Like and y'all can comment here too if y'all write in the chat. Please make sure y'all hit that like button and make sure y'all subscribe to the Kansas Patriots on YouTube. I appreciate it. Who's your sleeper out of this class?
Well, my first sleeper was Jack Besh, because I was making Jack Besh content back in September.
I remember seeing that. I remember seeing it on Twitter.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden everyone else starts seeing him, and I'm an LSU Tigers guy. LSU Tiger alum. So I saw him come up through LSU and got to watch him there first. I think a lot of people didn't. Then he came on at LSU. I think he had like rookie true freshman year. He had something like 460 yards, 4 touchdowns, and they have big plays too. One big grab against Alabama, and he was really, really electric. Even then, you saw the potential, even though they were kind of playing him more like a hybrid tight end. And then he shows up this year and just starts absolutely tearing the cover off of the defense and at TCU after getting a sort of year to get himself settled in there. I think he had injury problems in 23, and his tape is some of the best tape. I watched the first game against Kansas. It was at Kansas State. Yeah, I watched. So it was the second or first game that he played, and just absolutely shredding Kansas State. It was great. It was KSU, actually. Yeah, KSU.
Now, the thing with him, I don't think he really wows you with his speed enough, but he could be like a big slot, I think. Like a big slot receiver. Like, who does he kind of remind you if you want to think of like a comp?
You'll hear a lot. It's become sort of like,
he had a pretty good Senior Bowl, too.
Yeah. No, yeah, he really did. It was a tribute to his brother who passed away in New Orleans. Yeah. I think people are going to say Puka Nacua. They're going to bring these kind of guys up. I see it from this one. I don't think of him as the sort of pliable athlete that Puka Nacua is. He's sort of more of a bruiser. He's a bit more of a thug like out there. And I see him as maybe more when you bring him in there as sort of like if Puka Nacua is sort of like a ZX hybrid that's like split down the middle. Jack Besh might actually be more of an X, and I know a lot of people say they look at him as a big slot. Okay, but and this is coming from a perspective of watching him work inside as a tight end, and you can definitely use him in and around the tackles. But one of the things that really opened things up for him this year was how he was almost exclusively used at X. If you go watch TCU, like he's the guy, and he really takes his space out there in a way. He's very what I'd say is a really good trait for him that makes him an X is that he's very comfortable playing very close to the cornerback. Okay. And it's a trait that I look for. I was just talking about it on a video I made yesterday about Stephon Diggs.
I've seen it.
Yes. Yeah. If you look at the best wide receivers, they are not constantly trying to like just outrun and get away, and they're not playing scared of the corner. and you watch Jack Besh, he is right up in the corner's business at all times. Why? Because he wants to secure leverage one way or the other. He wants to secure leverage one way or the other. And I think
now, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, I think that's for me why he's a good X fit, because a lot of people think when they think X, they'll say, oh, you need someone fast, you need someone, and then it's no. For me, what I look for in an X is someone who's comfortable not playing with a lot of separation, because the X is where you're not going to get separation.
Your X, for the most part, you're isolated on the other side of the line of scrimmage or whatever. It's not you don't have to be a big time separator. I like to think of Dez Bryant. He was a good X receiver for the Cowboys or whatnot, or like a Brandon Marshall. None of that. They would never. Your X tip be a bigger receiver, isolated on the side. Stephon Diggs, I think he could be an X wide receiver, but he's probably going to be more Z and probably a little bit of X for us as well. But I think, like the bigger receivers like Bryant or Marshall, those guys like that, those are the ones you really typically think about of your X wide receivers or whatnot.
Oh yeah, Dez would be a perfect Dez tape would be perfect thing to look at to see a guy,
because he almost always played on the outside.
Yeah, and he's a guy that was comfortable not having a lot of separation.
My favorite wide receiver, Dez Bryant.
Yeah. And as far as Diggs goes, I think he, from what I've looked at last year, he played a lot. This is just off memory. I haven't looked at the numbers. He played more Z last season than he had in the past. I would take Stephon Diggs in a phone booth knife fight. I think his release package is still so good that if you want to line him up at X, he's going to end up getting a lot of wins. He did have one bad rep against the Patriots last year that I found over. Almost gets shoved onto the benches by Christian Gonzalez, but that'll happen.
Got a comment here from Wokey Vidge. I just want Travis in a Patriot uniform, and we're in position to possibly go to the AFC Championship or the Super Bowl in 2027. Okay. Hey, stand right there on Travis Hunter right quick. I'm going to go back to this comment. Right now we still less than a month. We got about 3 or 4 more weeks to the draft. Right now, from what my gut feeling on how it's probably going to go, I think Court Cam Ward's going to go 1 to Tennessee. I think Schefter said Abdul Carter probably to the Browns at 2. I seen that earlier. The Giants. Do you think with them signing Russell Wilson, does it affect the Patriots getting Travis Hunter, or do they still get Shedeur Sanders? And because right now, I would say my gut right now, because I don't care. I know what the Giants did, but I still think they will take Shedeur if he's there. I think it's going to be Ward, Carter, Sanders, then Hunter. That's my gut feeling right now. How do you feel about that?
I mean, I'm terrible at I'm terrible at that, but at this kind of stuff. For me, it's 50-50 because, and I like Shedeur Sanders. I really do.
I do too.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think he does not get. He's sort of been a little maligned in the whole process. We'll put it that of breaking the draft down, and I think people will. I think a team is going to take him, and a team's going to take him high. All right, Travis Hunter can we just be like straight up? Travis Hunter is just a better prospect, and the Giants, they need that. So you don't see the Giants taking Abdul Carter if he's there. If it let's just say Shedeur goes. Let's just say Shedeur goes to Cleveland. Yeah, if Shedeur goes to Cleveland, I could. I don't see if Abdul Carter. So if Abdul Carter gets down to number 3, so if he'll go past the Giants, because I think the Giants front. I think the Giants are set on the front, aren't they?
They got Brian Burns, they got Kayvon, they got Dexter Lawrence, but I mean, you can't pass up a star like Carter, though. I mean, they see Michael Parsons twice in their own division, so they kind of know what it's like.
Yeah, I mean, there is that. I personally, I'd say I'm not bullish on either Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter making it to the Patriots, or maybe not as bullish as some people. I
think at least one of them makes it.
You think so?
I think one of them will.
I think the feeling generally in the draft community right now is that it's going to be Travis, and that's a easy pick for the Patriots to make.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
it's an easy take on Travis.
It's only 1 year deal for Russ. It wouldn't make sense for them to try to win now, and if they do win now, they won't get a quarterback for the future after next season due to higher win. That's what I was saying. That's why if Schefter said it, I think yesterday or today, he kind of confirmed. He said if Shedeur is there, and if the Giants like him, They're going to take it. Keep in mind, excuse me, Shador hasn't even had his pro day yet. His pro day is next week. So let's just say, and Jackson Dart has a pro day Friday. Let's just say Jackson Dart blows everybody away with his pro day. He's going to rise up a little. Shador have a pro day next week. So I mean, it's still like we still less than a month out, and these stuff. It's fluid. It can go back and forth. But it's gonna be interesting to see what what happens. Sound like someone is a Browns fan. Back to the wide receivers though. If the Patriots can't land Travis Hunter, who's some second tier guys that they can get out? How do you feel about Trey Harris?
I like Trey. So there are, there are two. The way the draft community ends up breaking out, especially people that are sort of show up for the draft when draft season happens. Some people look at his numbers and they're kind of eye popping, and then you'll have people that'll say, "Oh, well, he's kind of an older prospect," and the
how old is he?
I think he's 22. He might be a 23-year-old rookie. I think that would be true. I think possibly. I think he's been at Mississippi for 2 years. He transferred in, played 3 years.
Yeah, he's 20. He's 23.
Yeah. So he's a little bit older.
He'll be 24 at the end of next season. So yeah.
Yeah.
They say he has an injury history too. He gets banged up a little bit.
Yeah, a little soft tissue injury here. The thing I do like about Trey Harris is that he's among his sort of party trick is he's among the top 3 at in this year's class and he actually would have ranked pretty highly last year too at beating press coverage and just getting off the line. And I think that's
good.
Yeah, I think that in and of itself is sort of a valuable trait. How everything else is. His time speed is his route.
And when you look at him, he's kind of big. You wouldn't think he'd be able to separate and get off covers like that.
Oh yeah, he's got experience. It shows. He's a sort of well practiced wide receiver. He uses route tempo well. I think ultimately his route tree, like I said, his route tree is kind of narrow with what they do at Mississippi. So it's a lot of slants for the most part. Slants and a lot of crossers and obviously sort of go balls and hitches.
Yes, I appreciate it. Make sure you hit that like button. Please hit that like button and make sure y'all subscribe to the channel, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I think that might be maybe the only question. He's kind of a high cut dude, high cut player. So how he transitions into running a full route tree might be a question.
I see a little bit of Brennan LaFell in him.
Yeah, that's a LSU fantastic comp. And I think a lot of people look at Trey Harris and they say, we come in the NFL and he's going to be as good as he was there, 1,500 yards. And I said, well, maybe, but you know what I think I like about Trey Harris is I feel if you draft Trey Harris, you're getting an NFL wide receiver he's not, I don't think he's going to show up and not be able to play football in the NFL more than most people in the class. We'll put it that way.
And I think they lack in that big end because I love the dig some. You got Diggs. He's not a huge receiver. Even if you got Travis Hunter, he's not a huge receiver. You don't really have that big. Mac Hollins, but he's up in age. He's probably more of a special teams guy. Maybe I still think if they miss out on Hunter, the top of the second round, I think Trey Harris would be a good fit for them, or even a guy like Jaden Higgins.
Oh, Jaden Higgins would be another one. I think a lot of people are talking him at 38. I'd probably look at him as if you're trading back up into the second personally. If I were at 38, I don't know. He might not be the way to go because I feel like at 38 you're going to have a first round prospect slip down, and you might need 38 as well. Depending on if Carter falls or who you take, you might need 38 to move up and get a tackle. But with Higgins, I'd look at him maybe as like a trade back up into the second kind of option. But a lot
Savage,
of people,
what's going on with you? But appreciate the comment. Y'all hit that like button and make sure y'all subscribe to the Ken's Pat Talk YouTube.
Yeah, a lot of people are really high on him, and he does have just exceptional qualities. He's another guy with a sort of narrower route tree. I've watched a lot of Higgins at this point, and I watched a lot of Iowa State over the last few years. And it's a lot of slants for him, a lot of slants, a lot of goes. But he does have excellent idea of leverage, like where he is in relationship to wide receivers. And he's just a terrific bad ball catcher. There are some passes where the ball will come in behind him actually at his cornerback, and he's a real strong guy. I think, with him pricing him out and thinking about where he goes, maybe like above a Cedric Tillman. I think a comp for him, it's difficult to comp him out. Maybe like a Alan Lazard kind of possession receiver at the NFL level. And I think Patriots fans would be happy with him. I could see Mike Vrabel liking him as well. Yeah.
One name I'm surprised you don't have out here is Jalen Noel, the other Iowa State receiver. Well, you don't. What is it about him?
I love Jalen Noel. It's actually just for him. I just think about the guys that are above him are a lot bigger. You know what I mean? So the guy, and one thing about what that's really important to me. Okay, when you look at my top 10 is missed tackles forced, and a lot of the guys that I've got up here, it skews that way. So you've got my top 3 wide receivers in the draft are your 1, 2. They're all of Travis Hunter, McMillan, and Burden are at the very top of missed tackles forced. So the guy that probably removes Noel for me here is Jalen Royals, because Jalen Royals is a tackle. I mean, he's a broken tackle waiting to happen. And if anyone hasn't gotten a chance to actually just watch this guy play, just go grab a Utah State game and watch it because he's fun.
Wogan Veggie said, let's just say we take Hunter. Let's say we take Hunter. What's the answer to the left tackle equation? Do we want to trade back into the first round? Probably take Campbell if he falls.
That would be strange. Campbell actually just had his pro day measurement today at 33 inches. I think he's pretty bulletproof in the top 10. Even if a team likes him as a guard, someone's going to take him because his resume is too good, and he's Will is just an elite athlete, and people are going to want that on their line. I think trading up is everyone in the Patriots draft community would get behind this. Trading back up into the first is a thing that would make everyone happy, and that likely would be for a number of tackle prospects. I'd be going there. You have Josh Connerly should be there in the bottom.
This we're gonna go over your mock. You're going on your mock draft now. Sorry, I can't see the top. You got Ted McMillan at a trade back probably scenario to 6. Then you got Josh Connolly, Mason Taylor, Ozzie Chapio from BC, Bashar Smith, RJ Oben, Najee Stathouse, Kareem Reed, and Andreas Burgales. I hope I said that right.
Yeah.
Which this mock draft. So this is how you feel it'll probably go in the first round. This your prediction, or just like you're just throwing something out there?
No, that's not. Yeah, I wouldn't say that's an official prediction. A mock draft from me is
kind of realistic.
More like it's an endorsement of value. It's an endorsement of like, this is where I like these guys. I do think a couple of these guys. I do think that Connerly or Aracey would be a logical target. I would not be surprised at all if Ozzie Trapelo is a Patriot a little bit. And I know the Patriots.
Yeah, he's a local kid too.
And I know the Patriots have met with Mason Taylor at least a couple times.
I like Mason.
And yeah, he is just a hard he's a hard prospect. I can see GMs just loving Mason Taylor for everything that he does. He really is I know this is probably stir things up a little bit in the community, but he's the most on tape to me, the most complete tight end that you have in this year's draft.
You think he go late first or probably in the second round? I think early second for Mason Taylor.
Yeah, I've got him right in the second. So, for me, that's, I'm not hard, things happen. And like, if there's a run early on tight ends and someone else needs a tight end late in the first, I would not be surprised to see Mason Taylor's number get called. I can also see Mason Taylor if there isn't a run, if maybe Loveland slips down a bit and someone gets him. I could see Mason Taylor maybe going towards the back end of the second. At this point, I would say I feel comfortable saying the end of the second round is a firewall for Mason Taylor. I think he belongs there. He ran a 4.64 today, by the way.
I seen that.
Yeah,
what do you think we probably will receive in that trade back by getting Ted McMillan at 6? And then, like, how you think Ted would fit in with our offense with us getting Diggs now? Do you think that'd be a good fit with Diggs, or could Ted be your wide receiver? Then you got Diggs, probably a pop in the slot. How you think that depth chart to shape out? I
am super. I love Ted. And anyone that follows
I see.
Because I'm part of the. It's not so much that I love Ted. It's just that I feel like people are down on him, and he's definitely not the guy you want to be down on. And how he fits in the Patriots wide receiver room, there is, and we've seen Josh McDaniels do this before. Imagine the role played by Kendrick Bourne, and now imagine instead of Kendrick Bourne getting those reps, they're going to Tetero McMillan. That's what I would see, is someone that plays around your formation, a little tiny bit of X, a lot of Z, some Y, and you just get him into space. Make stuff happen. Ted isn't, I would also say, bodes well for him there too. He's an underrated blocker. So like a lot of wide receivers
Diggs too, because I think Diggs going to take away a lot of coverage. And I think with this, you have how you think the depth chart. I think to go Tech at your X. Your top three receivers, I think it'll be Ted, Diggs, Pop, and probably your fourth probably be Polk or Booty.
So I mean, just based on last year, you'd have to put Booty near the top to be that guy.
Yeah, we're basing off last year.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, Booty showed up, and Booty can uncover for his quarterback at multiple levels of the field. So I wouldn't be so quick to write him off. Pop's always going to have a role, that. Like Pop's Pop's going to be in the mix.
I think Pop is really going to hit his ceiling with Josh McDaniels. I really think
so. A lot of people.
I got a good feeling about Pop though this year.
A lot of people do. I know that in the recent years, Josh has tended to run heavier slots. So I'm actually really interested to see how that plays out with the Pop Douglas situation. Like when Josh comes in, or heavier slots, taller slots too. So you know what I mean. So like when he gets in here, like is he still working him into the offense, or do they maybe use like a Jalen Polk, for instance, out of the slot more often? That's actually one of the things I'll be watching this year from training camp on, to be honest.
Light Shadow said, what's the status of Christian Barmore? I'm not sure. I think last I heard they say he was working out in Florida. So the fact he's working out after that health scare, that's pretty good. And they're not going to be able to rush him back because of the simple fact we got months to the season start. I think they rushed him back last year.
They probably did. As far as I know, with this particular condition that he has, it's a you're cleared or you're not cleared kind of scenario. So it's not like he's coming back from it's not like he's coming back from a knee injury, or a foot injury.
You're cleared or not cleared.
Yeah. When it comes to blood clots, because you can't, like for these men, they have to go out and play a sport where you'll go, at the end at Monday morning, you're covered in bruises. So if you're using anticoagulants, like it's not a risk most people would be willing to take, like with their body. So for him, it's either, excuse me, you're cleared or you're not. I don't know how he is personally. I have no inside information whatsoever. I do remember reading the last few weeks that the Patriots organization might be less bullish on his eventual return than they were last time. So good thing is they picked up Milton Williams.
We got some depth there. So I think he'll be there. I think Barmore will be clear. I think he'd be good.
I would love it. I loved him. Loved the selection. And by the way, for everyone who wants to trade up, that is one of the times that the Patriots did skip right back up, and man, they got
2021 draft, right? Yeah, 2021.
Yeah, and also another reason not to believe everything when people say such and such a player has got this negative, there's bad, there's sort of he's got a sort of a bad reputation because there were sort of whispers about Barmore like that, and he's
the smoke screen season.
yeah, he's been terrific. Like he's died as a Patriot.
Your thoughts on? Here's a question. It's a good one. Thoughts on Javon Baker? Keep or let him go?
Oh, you got to keep Javon Baker. You just drafted him. Yeah, I love Javon Baker. I think one of the things that for Javon last year is it was this highlight reel is so impressive, and a lot of people got really psyched and expected.
I think it was more mental with him last year. Him and Pope.
Yeah. Correct. Yeah, correct. And they're for two separate reasons. Like for Polk, it's almost like they put too much on his plate.
Yeah.
And like they all of a sudden they're playing him out there at X. They're doing all this stuff, and they probably should have kept his role a little more narrow while he got accustomed. With Baker, that especially out of the offense that UCF runs. And I said this I loved him through the whole draft process, but that this is not a guy that's going to come to most teams and be a ready, out of the box ready wide receiver. They're like at UCF, it's a lot of, when you watched him, it was a lot of one-on-ones. It was a lot of him just sort of riffing with his quarterback. It was a ton of RPOs. So he's going out there and, he's a smart guy. You're going out there, the structure of their offense. He knows when he's getting the ball oftentimes before the snap, just based on what you're seeing on the defense. You know what I mean? That this ball is coming to me. This ball is good. And it's not in any pro offense. It's a little, everything's going to be a lot more detail oriented. So for him, it's sort of it was going to be a process to begin with. And I think he became sort of a victim of people expecting him to come in and be this like alpha wide receiver. I mean, no, he's going to learn.
Yeah, he want people to stand up in wheelchairs and stuff. So when he said all that, a lot of people just took that and ran with it. So if and his highlight reel, his highlight reel is crazy.
Oh yeah, he's a natural. I'll say this to everyone, but Baker was never about 2025, modestly about 2026. He's a guy that you're taking, and what was it, the fourth, if I remember. And I'm looking for year 3. Like I want to see him ready to shred like year 3. That's what I'm looking for.
And if they can get anything out of Polk and Baker, that's 2 draft picks right there. 2 more draft picks for this year.
Oh, I think Polk's I'm not out on Polk. I'm not out on him.
Yeah, I want to see him with McDaniels and this. I think with Stephon Diggs taking the coverage away, Pop Douglas, Polk. I think you don't need both of them guys to have great careers or season. Just one of them. And then that's an extra draft pick right there because you didn't get nothing from him last year.
And I know people think, again, he's another guy that I think people think of and they say, oh, he needs to play in the slot. But I'm saying from the way I look at it with Polk, his X reps last season were some of his best. Yeah, he was getting consistent releases. He was making space. I think he sort of became a victim of and I love Jacoby Brissett, but Jacoby Brissett visibly on film last season wanted to throw to the older guys, not the younger guys. He had his guys. He came in.
Hunter Henry.
He liked Henry. He liked Hooper. He liked throw into these guys that are vets and had been there before, and he liked throwing to his backs. And I totally get that. And meanwhile, I'm watching on tape though. There's Pope. He was open a lot. He was open a lot. He was creating space. There are a couple.
He was like top in separation. A lot of separation metrics
for the first few weeks. Yeah, I mean, some of the separation metrics myself, like I don't really. They don't put too much stock into them because they kind of tell you really more where someone's being used. Like if you're going to be playing X all the time, your separation levels is going to be low. If you're going to, all the top separators on those metrics are guys that play almost exclusively in the slot. So that's a big reason why you saw him kind of like plummet. You know what I mean? Like, is that the usage of him after the first few weeks got less creative.
Yeah.
But yeah, on tape, he was separating. I just cut up a rep the other day. And I've done this one about 2 or 3 times, and I did a whole short because he did this route at University of Washington a lot when he's running that sort of wheel out and up kind of route.
I remember. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and I remember when I after that game, and there were multiple people saying, "Look, he's open," and then other people were saying, "No, he's not." And it was great having a rep right there in following my lap when I was looking through Diggs' film, where he's just the exact same route. But yeah, I would not sleep on Polk.
So you think he's better? He's best used in the slot.
I think he profiles well to play. If you have Stephon Diggs to lift a little bit of the X load, imagine that we have no one coming in the draft, and this is your wide receiver room. I know Patriots fans probably don't want to do that, but imagine that it is that. I think you, based on the tape last year, provided that Polk can figure out his hands situation, that you can. Yeah, I do too. He was too much of a beast with his hands at UW.
I can see him having that Kayshon Boutte redemption. You're like Kayshon. Everybody was out on Kayshon Boutte after Bill Belichick benched him in 2023. Look what he did last year. I'm not ready to give up on Polk yet.
Kay worked at it. Yeah, Kay worked at it, and it showed. And I wouldn't. Yeah. And for Polk, like I said, it's a different thing for every one of them. With Polk, I think it's for him getting comfortable, and I can't say this for a fact, but getting healthy. I think there were some things about his shoulder last season that people didn't know. It looked like he had he was up in a sling and coming back from surgery. So I don't know how much that limited him either, but he needs to get comfortable. And when he does, what I saw on tape, actually, it looked really good. You know?
Another question from Woke Veggie. What do you think about Kobe Bryant from the Kobe Bryant, the cornerback from Kansas? He's a dog of a tackler, around 3 to 5 type of guy. I seen some stuff on Kobe Bryant. Heard a little bit.
I haven't not gotten that deep in the. I cover mostly offense. I've not gotten that deep into the quarterback class. To round 3 to 5. So I couldn't say anything.
I've seen a little bit on Kobe. I think we're set at corner, especially if we get Travis Hunter. I don't think we need no more corners.
Yeah, I know. I was going to say, like, the Patriots. I love the Patriots cornerback room right now.
Yeah, I do too. My part corner got cold for Javon. Because right now, I mean, the cornerback room, you got Gonzo, Carlton Davis. I mean, probably Alex Austin, Marcus Jones still there. Let's just say you get a Travis Hunter. He's going to be your wide receiver, but maybe he plays some corner sometimes. So I think right now the board is shaped. Right now, like I said, we're Wednesday, March the 26th. We're still a little less than a month away. Right now, it looks good for it. I think what you think the worst case scenario is for the Patriots in the first round right now? Probably just Will Campbell or something like that.
I don't see a worst. I actually don't see a worst case. Yeah, and that's the thing is I like. There are a handful of people that I would take it for and take it for fine. I'm not big on. Like I said, it's not the greatest draft in the world, but there's not a lot of separation between after a couple of guys at the top. Everyone's got some warts, so you're going to have to take someone at 4 anyway. So I don't see a bad scenario. You could take Campbell, you could take Membao, you could take Tet. Obviously, would love to.
Would you take Tet McMillan at 4?
I know a lot of people say we want to trade down, but imagine the very real possibility that you can't. Who's going to trade up? You know what I mean? And it's one of those things that's very. I even did it in my mock draft where I traded down, and I was mostly just tinkering with it. But in reality, if you've got a draft where, on my board, you got for absolute value, regardless of team needs, positional value. So if you've got Cam Ward would be number 1 for me. Like he would be number 1. Why? Because he's a quarterback. You know what I mean? He's a quarterback. And then you've got Travis Hunter and Abdul Carter. And then everyone says after them there's this giant cliff. And then the next thing they'll say after that, well, we got to trade. So if we don't get any of them, we got to trade down. Well, if there's a giant cliff after them, who's trading up and for who?
Right. You gotta have it. It takes 2 to tango.
Yeah. It's like, so I don't know how you flip. I think the last time someone did a 4 to 6 flip was the Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson. That was the last time I could think of that short little flip, and that was 4 to 6, and that's the one that I did. Who traded up for Colts traded out, Jets traded up for Zach Wilson. Colts took Quentin Jones guard. Yeah, no, Quentin Jones guard. I think that's Quentin Jones guard. I'm sorry, I'm just old and I got a lot of names stuck.
Quentin Nelson. I think it was Quentin Nelson.
Yeah, Quentin Nelson. Thank you. Quentin Nelson. Quentin Nelson. I was in my head, but I was thinking Quentin Groves, and I'm like, no, that's a pass rusher from a decade ago. Oh my god. I remember him. It's Quentin Nelson, and he's a guard. And they flipped 4 for 6. I forget what they collected, but it was something like a 3rd or a 2nd rounder in value. It wasn't a whole lot. Got their guy, and the Jets did what the Jets do, drafted a bad quarterback.
Hey, this draft is going to be very interesting, man. I think you're getting a lot of news trickling in. Just a lot of things, smoke screen season, but some of it I think is true. I think the draft starts with the Giants, because if all the reports are true that Carter goes to the Browns, we kind of feel Ward's can go to Tennessee. I think the draft really going to start with the Giants there at 3. It's gonna be interesting to see what I don't think them getting Winston or Wilson changes anything for them. I don't think it does.
I appreciate your insight on that. I don't actually, I think about it, that kind of stuff a little bit, but I don't spend enough time probably thinking about that. And I don't think. I'm not, by the way, I like Wilson. I know a lot of people hate on Wilson too. I mean, he's not what he used to be, but I mean, I like Wilson. Like, he was a fun quarterback over the years and won a lot of games. I don't think at his age, especially with his play style, you could look at him as a long-term guy anyways. So, like you said, if they took a quarterback, I wouldn't be shocked, whether it's Shador or Jackson. So, yeah.
What what would you think would need to happen for us to be back into the Super Bowl?
Truth.
Well, this coming year it'd be a lot of luck, but
Yeah,
I
a whole
just
lot of luck.
think a lot of luck this year. But I mean, if Drake makes that guy, which my gut I think he is, if Drake is that guy, we continue to build this thing, and then I think players going to want to come. We got Diggs to come. Let's just say
Mhm.
we get Travis Hunter. These guys are going to be. They're going to draw people to want to come to the Patriots and whatnot. And I think in the future we definitely can be that destination or whatnot, and you just got to get talent. And if Drake
Mhm.
is that guy, if you saw what he did last year with the talent, if he can continue to elevate the pieces around him, if I can get better Drake May next year with better coaching and all that, I think we're gonna be in store for a good season. I mean, I've seen the
Mhm.
schedule, but I don't know the dates and all that right now. But let's just, I mean, we'll talk about the schedule and all that after the draft. But I think the floor right now for them, I think, is like 8 or 9 wins. I think that's the floor. That's the worst case, I think. Now
I
we ain't even had the draft. I think the worst. I think they can get at least 8 wins this year with this
I
schedule. I Yeah,
I think they can. I'd be reluctant. I want to see everything all in who they get
yeah. I want to see the
before I
full
get it.
picture. Yeah,
Yeah, I want to see the full picture in here. To answer that question, if you mean Super Bowl in the near future, I think with this team, and Mike Vrabel talked about it right out of the gate the first time he spoke to the media, and the way football is going, uh, this team needs to pay major attention, not just this draft, not just this offseason. They need to pay major attention to their offensive line. We've already been for about the last 5 years. It's sort of in this NFL world where you have an offensive line shortage,
yep.
and the way people are playing defense right now, um, it's more about it's more about matching people using matched coverage to sort of put the squeeze on quarterbacks and force them to layer throws into tightly contested areas. And I mean, I think the Philadelphia Eagles at one point during the Super Bowl had run something like 60% of their defense was quarters. That was matched quarters, and and that's all they were doing was just
Taking away the
saying,
middle
"Hey
of the
Pat,
field.
hey Pat, you're gonna come out. We're not giving you any easy throws. We're gonna make you hold the ball. Like we're gonna make you hold the ball and let our four guys up front do their thing." And the way you combat that, and that's the reason why there's an offensive line shortage. The way you combat that is with offensive linemen who can do their job, offensive
Yep.
linemen who can hold hold things down for your quarterback. And then the second way you get out of that sort of hole is, and you beat these match coverages, is you run the ball, you run the ball well. Look at
Run
Washington,
the
like
rock.
look at Washington Commanders, and what they put on tape last year is fantastic for things that can beat these sort of modern defenses, because you've got Jaden Daniels coming out one side, you've
Yep.
got a running back coming out another side, and that's all you really need to keep a defense honest. You're going to be able to,
Yep.
you'll be able to pull people right out of their run fits. So I would say
Z was
offensive line.
Yeah, Z, great man, great conversation with you. It was great having you on
It was
tonight, man.
fantastic being here.
All y'all here's a bunch of y'all in here. Y'all coming from Z stream from his Twitter, and for some of y'all from my Twitter, YouTube, whatnot. Make sure y'all hit that like button, comment, share, subscribe to the YouTube, man. Please stop what you're doing right now and hit that like button and come on over to the Ken's Pat Stall Patriots podcast. Follow me for the rest of the draft season and rest of the season. I do streams every night. Make sure you give me the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, man. I really appreciate it. Z, one more time for the late people that came in. Let everybody know where they can find you at.
You can find me on YouTube at youtube.com at Cut Call, and primarily go through Twitter. You find me at ZB at zbellino.com, or zbellino at Twitter, sorry. And that's my Cut Call presence. Yeah, I put lots of videos up. Go, you search through my timeline, find the media in there.
Hey man, we're gonna do this again, man. Maybe before the draft,
Absolutely.
or maybe I might can get you after the draft, man. I gotta we
Yeah,
got to see if the schedules meet up.
yeah, absolutely. Hit me up. It was fun. Yeah.
Yes, sir. I appreciate all y'all joining me, man. Y'all have a good one. Hold on, we got one more comment. Let me get to this before we get off. Let me see. Oh yeah, like that stream. Hey, woke Vigil. Yeah, appreciate it. Appreciate it. Make sure y'all subscribe, man. I appreciate it.
Veggie carried tonight.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Like that stream, man. I appreciate. Hey, y'all hit that thumbs up. I appreciate it. But y'all have a good one. It's good to have you on, Z, man. Hopefully we can, like I said, we can do it again soon.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. It was fantastic.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
Uh,